Welcome, everyone. This is Mavs Sports Take, episode 37, your weekly podcast for sports business and everything that you need to know in the sporting world in general. We tackle the business of all the news you hear about on a daily basis and some that you don't hear about. Tonight, we have a really fun show. We're going to be welcoming on all ACC defensive back Michael Carter, safety out of Duke University, to discuss his 2021 NFL draft journey. We will also be joined by Delta State secondary coach Jeff Terry on to discuss navigating COVID cancellations, a little insight into J.C. Horn and as a football player, as well as a preview of Julius Jr. Falk, who I believe could be the top prospect coming out of Division II football next year in the 2022 NFL draft. It's all unmuzzled and all tonight here on Mav Sports Take. David, how are you, man? We haven't talked much. How are you?
Oh man, I am back on the grind. I've planes, trains, automobiles just to get me around this country, from Birmingham to San Diego, HBCU out to the hub. We're finding 2020, 2021 draft class guys all the way through street free agents. So Mav Sports is in the mix no matter what's happening with these players. We are trying to help them achieve their dreams, whether that's playing NFL, CFL, arena ball, whatever it is. And it's that time of year where we are staying busy, very little sleep, and racking up the miles.
Who needs sleep? Shout out to everybody. We are live here on the NFL Draft Bible, live stream on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Shout out to Dan Cassidy in the room. Dan, thank you so much for being with us. We can depend on you every week. And on top of the two great interviews that we have this week, we took some mailbag questions. Figuring, David, maybe with the HBCU roots, we got to talk a little Eddie George to Tennessee State.
Yeah,
very interesting to say the least. Really, really cool headline. Maybe we might actually start with that one in a second. And then, of course, I want to talk about the Hub a little bit. David was just out in Cali for the Hub, so I want to get a little breakdown of how that experience was. But again, we thank you all so much for joining us tonight. If you want to throw in any live questions at any time, throw it out there. We're here all night until our first interview anyway, and then we can't answer your questions, unfortunately. But we appreciate everybody. So, David, let's start here, okay? We talked about the HBCU Combine to kind of start last week's show. Obviously, you're out at the Hub football camp this week. How was the event? How were the athletes? It looked like a very good turnout from what I saw.
Yeah, the crop was really good. I was fortunate. I got a chance to, Rick, myself, and others, the coaches, were able to really work together and put together a nice staff of players this time. Don graciously said it was a really level up from players. We had, I think it was 12 or 13 players that used to have NFL contracts. We had another dozen or so that were CFL athletes. We had 25 Power 5 school conference guys. So then we sprinkled in some guys around it that, were great. And the quarterback group was really awesome. We had guys like Luis Perez and, Francois and Bray and stuff. So, on top of which there was Josh Love. And so there's just so many of these guys that were out there performing, doing great. Unknown guys like Jake Smith, who was at SUNY Cortland, made a really good impression with the coaches. So did Kyle Smith. One of the biggest standouts, though, was a running back, Devontae Williams, Southeastern Louisiana. We asked him, we asked him not only to do running back drills but receiver drills, and he was one of the better receivers too. So, it was fun to watch him. Obviously, Eric Swoops was there, tight end. A really great tight end that stood out a lot was Daquan Hampton, USC player, and another tight end was Cheyenne O'Grady from Arkansas. Had a really great day. Yeah. Caught the ball the best outside of his frame out of everybody. A couple one-handers that he just went up and plucked. So it was really a good group. I could sit here and go on and on. Obviously, we had Brandon Marshall, the 31-year-old linebacker that's trying to make a comeback, and he looked great out there doing his thing. So many of these kids, I'll be doing write-ups and doing things for this week. So we'll get those out to the teams, and we'll get those out to everybody as soon as I can grind them out and get them done.
Yeah, I know O'Grady's a really interesting guy because he had a lot of production at Arkansas, and obviously his career did not end quite the way that he wanted to. But I'm glad that he's getting a little bit of publicity, a little bit of an opportunity there for sure. And I know we're about to bring on Michael Carter against safety, defensive back out of Duke University. A very good football player. I think he's going under the radar a little bit, to be honest with you guys. And then he went to his pro day and ran like in the high 4.3s and really good stuff on top of what I consider to be very good tape. So David, if you're ready, let's bring on our first guest. You ready for this?
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Let's do it. So again, we're bringing on Michael Carter, defensive back out of Duke University, 2021 NFL draft prospect. Real quick background on Michael: 46 career games for the Blue Devils, 36 starts, had 135 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, 24 pass breakups, caused a fumble recovery, quarterback pressure, 2020 third team All ACC selection, 3-time All Academic pick in the ACC as well. Represented Duke at the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl in January, although, of course, it was a virtual event this year. Still a great accomplishment. And then he was the team captain in 2020. Michael, I've been a fan of yours for a while, man. Appreciate you popping in with us, man. How's everything going?
Man, everything's going good, man. I hope you can hear me good. Back at home with the best connection I could get. So, I hope everything's going good, though.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we hear you loudly, clearly. Excited to have you on. I want to kind of start you out by talking about the unfortunate events, Michael, because I know, with the COVID-19 pandemic, is there going to be a season? Is there not going to be a season? Fortunately for you, the ACC was pretty firm from the beginning. We're going to have a season. We're going to get through it. And, they did the best of their ability, obviously. Can you just take me through maybe a little bit of the uncertainty and how you were best able to navigate what was a very tough situation?
Yeah, I think, we was all kind of, down about possibly not having a season. But if it's one thing that, I just work hard and hopefully everything works out the way it's supposed to. And so, in the off season, and I just stayed on my training regimen and was putting my skills and lifting and getting stronger, and then holding my team. We were checking in on each other, just making sure everybody was possible. To when we got back, we could be the best team possible.
Mm-hmm. And Michael, I'm actually going to pop you out for a second. It looks like the internet's a little off, so if you could try to reconnect. Sorry about that. But David, so this guy, very interesting player as we try to fix this connection issue, right? So he's a starting safety. They have another good safety named Marquise Waters, number 0 actually, who wore this year. So they play a ton of too high. But he's a guy that he's usually the guy getting rolled down. He doesn't play as much on the roof. But for me, when I was watching this game, like he's quick twitch. He's got a little bit of a smaller frame, but he can really click and close very quickly. I thought he was going to test relatively well, but then he went to the pro day, like I said, and ran in the 4.3. So I'm wondering here, a guy that started 36 games in the ACC conference, a multi-dimensional player who has played a little bit of everything in the secondary, can play nickel, can play safety, play in the box a little bit. He's been versatile. Why are not more people talking about it? I'm just a little confused about it.
Well, I don't know him as well as you. Obviously, I've been flying there. So, what was his height and his weight on his pro day?
I need to check real quick. I believe he was right around 5'11" and 195 pounds or so. So he wasn't a small guy.
No, he's not a small guy. And honestly, it doesn't make sense. If he runs a 4.3 and he's 5'1", 1.5-ish and 190, 195, it's a situation where you see the tackle production at 135 of them, 7.5 tackles for loss. So he's not, scared to insert and get behind the line of scrimmage and deal with the big boys. Mm-hmm. He's got a sack to his credit and 24 pass breakups. I mean, your interception to pass breakup ratio might not lead you to like the best ball hawk, in the world. But I mean, when you got your hands on the ball 24 times, those are 24 pass breakups that, people didn't complete. So, for me, this kind of guy honestly reminds me a lot of what the Panther makeup would be back under Marty and them. So this would be a Washington football candidate, in my opinion, and he would be ideal for what they're going to be looking for in Ronzo defense. playing him in the nickel, or even, bumping him outside in their scheme, and, having him play like the right side corner would be something they would look for in this kind of player. I don't know if he's a left side corner for, Ron. Ron likes a little bit more length than that, but a right side corner would be somebody that Ron would look at this type player to play for him, and or a nickel type person. So, I could see that fit. I think in the New York Giants scheme, this guy would be more of a safety, almost like how they play Peppers.
Yeah.
And so, this would be a good backup to Peppers. You can take him a little later in the draft if he's not got all the hype and everybody's not on top of him. So now you can go and put him behind Peppers and see what you really, work on and play out. And that's a position I can see them needing. Places like Denver and Oakland, I think they need safety help really badly. So, this would be a kid that, again, hopefully they're listening tonight and they're hearing us talk about him, and they go back to their boards and they check it a little bit and say, this is somebody we need to take a look at for maybe rounds 5 through 7. Not a lot of height around him. He's a solid character guy. Went to Duke, academic All-American, production. I'm hearing from a lot of my friends this isn't a deep class. So here's a guy we're serving up to you that would make a great pick in 5, 6, or 7. Take a flyer at him and see what you get.
Yeah, and I definitely want to hit on Dan Cassidy's question. It looks like we might have Michael back, so let's see if we've remedied the technical issues. Michael, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Am I clearer?
Yes, I can hear you better now. Sorry about that. We live, unfortunately, in the COVID world still. A lot of technical issues that we have to get through.
So, Michael, how has the draft process been for you? NFLPA experience, huge pro day performance. Obviously, you hit the 4.3. When you were off, we were talking. You were just over 5'11" and 195 at pro day. What was your arm length? Do you remember that?
I think my arm length was just under 30. It's around 29 something. So I think that's what it was.
Gotcha. But I mean, the 4.3 hitting that, and obviously being over 5'11" and everything like that, you just got to be ecstatic about that performance there. How's the rest of the process going? How many teams have you interviewed with on Zoom and Google Classroom and all that other stuff they've been doing?
An interesting process. I've enjoyed it. I've interviewed with a lot of teams, and they've been, I feel like, good interviews, and I put myself in a good position to, hear my name called on one of those days. But definitely, with the pro day performance, and that I feel like that helped as well. Just me being me in the interview process as well, and showcasing that to them and see it and hear it and feel it from me. Definitely been a huge booster for myself.
Yeah, and Michael, I wanted to ask you. We were kind of talking, when we were trying to remedy the issues, that the fact of I have seen you play a lot of different roles for the Blue Devils defense. I think you're a guy that can play a little bit on the roof. I think you can come down, mix it up. I think you could play in the slot. I think you could be a nickel. Like, there's a lot of potential, I think, for you versatility wise. Is there a position or role for you that you feel like is the best for your skill set?
Yeah, I feel like, I'm a DB, and I'm always say I'm a DB, but if I had to choose a role, that I could, thrive the most in, I feel like it would be that Nick slash D, and that's like being around the action, and being physical, and make tackles, as well as covering, and being heavily involved in the man-to-man aspects and dropping in the zones and things like that. So, definitely that being around the action, and making plays. I put myself in that nickel slash safety type, role for myself.
And I think where the value really comes for you too, Michael, is whether it is on day 2 or into day 3 or wherever the chips land for you, is the fact of, hey, we're talking about an experienced guy, very well spoken, a guy that has been, a hardworking player, but then also you couple that with the athletic testing you have then for special teams value. The way that you stick a lot of times, especially on day 3, is what the impact you have on special teams. For you, how big of a role have you had on special teams in your career? And is that something that you're excited about? Something you love to do? Like, is that something that you would do for a potential suitor?
Yeah, I loved special teams in college. My freshman year started on all 4 special teams. Sophomore played 2 or so, something like that. Junior was on 2 or 3, and this year was on 2 as well. And then always myself to be on special teams every year, willing, special teams guy, whether it be, punt, gunner, or running down there on kickoff, kick return. Just being involved in some aspect other than defense. I was definitely proud to be a part of that. And at Duke, we had our Elite 11, what we called it, for the special teams, racked up points and stuff every week, depending on how you perform on special teams. So it made me be that Elite 11 out of my 4 years being at Duke.
No, that's great that you have special team experience and that you obviously can play and fill in that role right now, right away, so teams get to know that. Have you been getting any kind of feedback from teams at all? Have you had some in-depth conversations with any of the special teams coaches or TB coaches where you think you're going into the next weekend, you're feeling really good about maybe joining that organization?
Yeah, all the conversation and feedback I've gotten, especially after pro day, has been really good and promising. Whether it be on defense, definitely on defense for sure, teams for sure. There's a role, and I'm going to compete and find my place on any organization.
Fantastic. And Michael, I kind of wanted to end you on this one. We appreciate you again taking some time with us leading up to your big draft day here very soon. Are there plans? Because I know a lot of guys obviously, are invited to the draft. They might go to Cleveland this year. But being around your family, though, I'm sure is probably a special moment for you. I'm sure it's been a dream for you for a long time. What are the draft day plans? And what is that moment going to feel like for you when you can officially call yourself a professional football player?
Yeah, the plan for me, keep it relatively, small and close to the home as far as who's with me and experiences that with me, but definitely, even people who aren't there, who had a impact on me as far as how far I've come, I'll show appreciation to them as well. And then, but yeah, just keeping it close. And then, when I finally hear my name called, it'll be a surreal moment and something I've dreamed about and especially ever since I was younger. And so when that finally happens, I'm sure it'll just be a overwhelming feeling of emotion, and then, starting to shift that, have fun with that, and then starting to shift that mindset into getting ready for football, and now this is I gotta be on my P's and Q's at all times.
Yeah,
Back to
absolutely.
business for sure.
Yep. Get into business. And of course, again, I'm talking to here Mr. Michael Carter, defensive back out of Duke University. One of the more underrated defensive backs in this draft, in my opinion. Not only do I think he's going to get drafted, I think he's going to get drafted a little higher than maybe some people anticipate. So, Michael, best of luck here, man. In less than 10 days now, we are in the single digits. Appreciate you taking a little bit of time today, man. And best of luck next Thursday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely.
Take care. Have a good weekend next weekend, buddy.
Good.
All right. So, again, that is Mr. Michael Carter, defensive back out of Duke University, fighting a little bit of technical difficulties. But, David, we made it through. We always make it work. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to, again, stress this. Haven't heard many people talk about this young man, but I wanted to get him on the show because I watched this film probably in October. I think was the first time that I really sat down and dissected it, and then I did a little more towards the end of the season for the final eval. And I was impressed. I thought that, again, he's a guy that can wear multiple hats for a defense. I think that he's a kid that can stick. I think he's a kid that's going to get drafted maybe a little earlier than some people think, because I haven't even seen anybody really I haven't seen anybody put their name out there, at least on the media side, saying this is a draftable kid. So I think that he has a shot. I appreciate him taking some time, again, working through the technical difficulties, but a good football player who's going to hear his name called now in 9 days. Are we 9 days now? Something like that, right? Yep, 29.
Oh, something like that. I mean, it's coming up quick. I don't think it gets here fast enough. But no, again, I appreciate him being patient with us and the technical difficulties, because those are always trouble, especially as a guest. You're on and you're like trying to hear the host and respond to him, and then it's going in and out. So I appreciate his patience and giving us his time tonight. But going back to Dan Cassidy's question here,
yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm Gettleman's spirit animal.
You are. You're definitely a spirit animal.
I wish that job gets paid more than I do. I think that would be Ken Sternfeld, actually, the way they've been together for freaking 22 years. It's like they're married. But I would say there's a chance they trade back, but it's going to be hard. When you do the draft math, and you'll hear Ryan and I's picks next week, there's going to be some good players sitting there at 11, and they're going to be hard to get away from. I know there'll be a plethora of them, but at the same point, it's like the right fit for either his offense or defense is going to be sitting there. And I don't know if you come off. I don't know if this is the year to come off it. And now that said, if the right trade up is there, if there's a pairing with a team like maybe at 15 or 16 or 17, in that area, and they're going to give you a 1, a 3, do the draft math of 4 next year or something like that to come up and get it. I think, they're in a win right now situation. So if they can collect more draft picks this year and make it happen and know that they're going to get one of these top players, 4 picks later, I mean, it's worth it to me with the draft math this year. I think there's some positions that the Giants need, and they really have an opportunity to maybe move back and collect those picks and collect those players with the contracts being so favorable for them over the coming, next few years. It'd be great to see them do it. But I also, if they stay pat and pick their player, I can't fault them this year.
Well, it's going to be very interesting because historically, obviously, the question is because Dave Gettleman has not historically traded back very often. So will he stay pat? Will he have movement? It's going to. I think it's going to be a very interesting spot because when I do mock drafts for them, I always am like not sure about the fit with some guys because usually how the board falls. But
young Jedi, this is why you learn from me.
Ready? No. Ready? I'm going to throw 3 names at you, and you tell me
3.
Ready? I'm going to tell you 3.
Right.
Yeah,
3. All right.
Ones. Ready?
Give me a hat trick. Let me see what I can do.
The dream. Micah Parsons falls to 11.
Run the card up. Let's go.
Right. Which could happen apparently because there's some character stuff. But who knows?
All right, run the card up. Let's go.
I'm not speculating. Number 2. Even though they just signed Kenny Golladay, Jalen Waddle at 11 would be love. The mix of size with his type of speed.
Here's the thing.
Yep.
And I had this conversation with Patricia Patricia the other day from Locked On Giants, right? And we were talking, and Waddle, because they already have short receivers in the room.
Yeah, but they're all bad.
I'm saying you already have money committed to short receivers. Waddle, and again, I love Waddle. I think Waddle's amazing. I called Chris Pettit last year when he wasn't even draftable. I'm like, are you watching the 17? He's like, no, he's not draftable. I'm like, go ahead and watch him. Like 5 minutes later, he started texting me back, and he was like, holy crap. I go, I know. His stop to start is ridiculous. His route running is second to none. I mean, he's an incredible player, like really incredible. People I don't think understand how incredible he is and how rare of a talent he is. So would it shock me they take him there? No. But with the shorter receivers in the room, and I know Gettleman when I was in Carolina with him, right? He liked the big guys. And so, like in rounds 3 or 4, you can get maybe a Nico Collins to pair up with Galladay, and then you already have your slots with your veteran guys. And they just put money 1 year, I know, into that shorter guy. What was it, Josh Shaw or something like that? So yeah, I mean, a guy who's been injured, a lot, and they gave him
is it Ross? John Ross?
Yeah, John Ross. There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
John Ross. So I mean, they already are invested in certain short guys. So for me at that spot, I wouldn't go with a short guy. I would go with a bigger guy.
I'm just trying to give them good football players, man. Like I'm trying to help them out. I'm trying to help Dave.
Who's the third? Who's the third?
Okay, this one. So this one's an incomplete evaluation because I don't know what the medicals look like. I don't know, David. I don't have any kind of
Okay.
But if it checks out, Jalen Phillips, defensive end out of Miami.
No,
I think it's a great fit. Why? Why isn't it?
Because he's a quitter. And I'm not trying to be, but I mean, you want to know where I get that mentality from? It's from him. I mean, you can't.
Quitter. Why?
Well, he just decided to walk away from football, and then he came back, right? And now he's got medical
issues.
I understand. No, I'm not faulting the man. Okay, don't get me wrong.
I hear you.
It's a legitimate reason, but at pick 11, you're right outside the top 10 pick. You have a 5-year potential contract for a rookie. It's got to be a guaranteed. Now that player in rounds 2, 3 make a lot of sense for teams because it's not missing on that first round contract. That's it. I'm not trying to kill the player. I'm just saying you can't have a guy who walked away from medical concerns and leave not being comfortable, now come up to the NFL level and start dealing with some concerns, and you took him in the first round. Like that question mark is the one that keeps him out of the first round for me, and I can't believe Gettleman would pull the trigger on him there. And Dan, I see you with Waddle. We're all huge Waddle guys. I just don't know the fits there for the scheme in the system.
What do you mean the fit? We got Kenny Galladay outside, 6'3". We got Darius Slayton on the other side, 6'2" with a little bit of speed. And then we got Waddle on the inside, man. Who cares about Sterling Shepard? He stinks and he gets hurt all the time. You want to talk about injuries? Sterling Shepard's hurt every other day of his life. Give me the fit. It's a good fit. Dan, I know. I get it. I understand it. Last guy I'll throw out there. I don't know if you know this guy too much. You probably do at this point, but
I've been doing my homework lately.
Azeez Ojulari.
Oh, your boy from Notre Dame.
No, not Owusu Cormo. I'm talking about Ojulari, the defensive end, outside pass rusher from Georgia. From Georgia.
Georgia. Okay. Again, scheme fit with that. I don't know because they're more of a 43 team.
Yeah, but don't they run? They run like that New England.
I'm sorry, 34. They're running the 34.
Right. So he's a 3/4 outside linebacker. Boom.
Yeah, it could be interesting. And again, I think he's a guy that's definitely in the conversation at that spot. But here's again my stick on it. He's 6'0", 2'3". He ran good, but when I watch his pass rush, a lot of effort. I don't see a lot of bend through the ankle. So I think there's going to be. I think. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very good player. But if I'm drafting there at 11, he's not 11. He's 15 through 25, in my opinion. He's 15 through 20. So if they trade back, Ryan, this is my thing. If they trade back, collect some picks, I like him better for them. See, there, I like another corner. Like, what if your boy J.C. Horn falls there? Or what if your boy Pat Surtain drops there? Or what
JC will not be there. JC will not be there.
I'm just saying.
I said it.
Hey, in my mock drafts, we'll see what you and I have next week. But I think there's a potential with the teams that traded up, made some moves in front of them, that corners are going to get pushed back. And now, if you got another good corner, which Dave liked to do, remember he had Worley and Bradbury.
And he's got Bradbury again.
He's got Bradbury again. So now he's looking for his Worley on the other side, right? And those corners are going to be sitting there. If it's not Horn, it's another guy that's going to be sitting there. It could be Surtain. It could be who's the other one you like so much?
I like Stokes from Georgia.
Stokes, but he won't be there. That's not the spot for Stokes.
Yeah, he's not going to go 11. Greg Newsome's a guy that's getting a lot of top 15.
Nah, I don't like Newsome.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying that there's a chance that a corner sitting there. There's a good chance that even Slater's sitting there. There's a good chance that there's I mean, there's a good chance. There's a great chance excellent receivers are going to be sitting there.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to sit there and to take a guy, and when you're doing the draft math, you're going to be like, whoa, okay, that guy was still there. They couldn't pass on him. But if they trade back and get the Georgia pass rusher still and collect some picks for those that, rounds 2 or 3 or 4, I think it's going to be a good move either way they go about it.
And Dan put Surtain in there. Dan, he's no J.C. Horn, but he's pretty good. We actually have somebody coming on here in about 5 minutes that has a very good relationship dating back to J.C. Horn's high school days. That we'll be able to talk to him a little bit about. It's Mr. Jeff Terry, defensive back coach out of Delta
But think
State.
about that secondary. Think about that secondary. If it had Surtain, Bradbury, and Peppers, all in it.
And Logan Ryan.
Yeah, and Logan Ryan. Now Logan can move in and play your nickel, right?
Yeah.
And now look at that secondary, and now you got
and the kid they drafted last year from Alabama, the first round pick, second round pick. I mean, yeah,
the second round pick, the safety, yeah.
Yes.
And again, and you went and got the Minnesota defensive end this year. You signed back Leonard Williams. You have decent linebackers, even though we know they have to make a move there eventually and upgrade there a little bit. But your secondary would be buying the pass rush time. The pass rush would be able to move and get going. So, when adding Surtain that's what I'm saying. Like, there are players that fit right here at 11 to hold pat. But if they move back and they pick up a player and picks, it's going to be good too.
No, I agree. It's very interesting. I can't wait to see what happens there at 11. Again, we have an interview coming in at you guys in about 5 minutes. I want to go to the mailbags, David. Get a couple of these done. Real quick, I just want to mention very quickly that, I mentioned a little bit to start the show. Eddie George to Tennessee State. This is fun, David. This is really fun. We talk about Deion, the impact that he's had at Jackson so far. We get another, Heisman Trophy winner, very good running back for a long time for the Tennessee Titans. Went to a Super Bowl, lost to the St. Louis Rams, by the way, in that Super Bowl, but still a great performance that Eddie George had. And now he goes back, staying in Tennessee, where he played the majority of his NFL career at Tennessee State, another HBCU, another historically black college and university. Big deal, man. This is a big deal. We're starting to get legitimate spokespeople. We're starting to see legitimate symbols. These guys are going to be able to recruit. We've seen Deion pluck junior college 4-stars, a couple 4-stars from high school. We're going to start to see an influx of talent now going to Tennessee State. Big time getting a guy like Eddie George to come to Tennessee State.
Well, Eddie George is a huge get. Quality human being, incredible person. When you shake his hand, he's all about business. But he's going to be a bit different. He's not as flashy as Deion, right? He's not that prime time, guy. So when he's sitting in the living room recruiting, it's going to be about education, getting them right, making sure they graduate. It's going to be a different. I would love to go back to back listening to those two recruiting pitches because I think they're going to be really fun, different but fun. And then I also read an article Hugh Jackson was going to take a job potentially out of HBCU. So there's it's just not the players that are going in there to show that they can coach and do things, but I think you're going to see some really quality coaching candidates, whether it be Hugh or Lovie Smith or something like that. One of those guys going into the HBCUs and almost taking it as a retirement job, but also a job to move forward. And then you'll see some young coaches that might be at Power 5 schools that just can't get the break, can't move up, from whatever their position is to get a head coaching job. They'll go to HBCU and kill it for 2-3 years there and crush it, and then boom, they'll get a Power 5 job. So I love this resurgence as we're seeing down at the HBCU. I shouldn't say down. I should say at the HBCU level. To rise it up and get it to the level and be a platform for people to launch careers off of.
Yep, and again, we got Mr. Coach Terry, defensive back coach out of Delta State, about to hop on with us in a second. Before we do, we want to let you know that history has shown us at Maverick Sports Consulting that when we have to accomplish new achievements, you must learn new behaviors to fulfill them. Only through coaching can you find the ways to achieve your goals in life. If you're looking to gain the coaching you need to achieve your goals, whether they are in sports, business, or in life, Maverick Sports Consulting is here to support you. Reach out to us tonight and sign up for our coaching package to allow us to forge you new paths for you to gain your goals tomorrow. So again, fun one for me, David. I actually interviewed Coach Terry before the season was supposed to start, and then obviously a lot of cancellations happened. Bringing on Coach Terry real quick. Coach Jeff Terry, I want to lay it out real quick, Coach. Delta State secondary coach. Coach Terry had stints at Wingate University, Alpharetta High School, where that's kind of the J.C. Horn tutelage, Duluth High School, Alfred State College, where he played, and before Delta State, he had some stints there coaching. He also played defensive back not only for Alfred State's College from 1997 to 1999, where he earned NJCAA All-American honors in 1998 before playing defensive back for the University of Buffalo, where he finished. Following his playing career, Coach Terry signed a contract with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League in 2002, and later that year signed a free agent contract with the New York Jets. So highly accomplished career here. Coach, it's been a while, man. I haven't talked to you.
What's up? What's the
doing?
deal, man? How you doing? How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing great, man. Doing absolutely wonderful. We appreciate you taking a little bit of time. I know you're out and about. You got your son's baseball game, right?
In a second. Yeah, man. I had a coach pitch game tonight, man. They had me on third base, man. I was like, man,
how many signs did you give to go home? How many were to get
all
home?
All of them. Go home every time, baby. Every time.
Well,
pitcher's in his windup. I'm saying steal. Go.
Right.
Hey,
every time.
I love it. And Coach Terry, obviously, I enjoyed our conversation the first time so much when I had you for the first interview. I wanted to get you back on. Wanted to kind of update because I know we've been texting from time to time, just kind of updating on everything going on. But I want to start you out. For people who aren't familiar with Delta State, because I know you've been a few spots, can you just tell us real quick, just lay out Delta State for you and what makes it a special community and place for you to call home?
Well, it's about tradition. Anytime you think of blue bloods of college football, you think of, your Alabamas, your Michigans, things of that nature. At the Division II level, you have your haves and your have-nots, your guys that have won the national championship and places that have not. We have won the national championship here. So there's a level of tradition. There's a level of culture here that you see right away when you get here. The women's basketball team won 7 national titles in the 80s. I mean, they beat LSU, one of those titles, when there were no divisions. So when you come to play, Delta State is located in Cleveland, Mississippi, right on Highway 61, right in between Memphis and New Orleans. So, you can get on one highway and get to either place. We play in the Gulf South Conference. 5 of the last 7 years, either a team from our conference has either won the national championship or played for it. So obviously it's a ton of tradition. Obviously it's a ton of competitive teams, a ton of competition. And just to be honest with you, they call us the baby SEC because we play in Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina. And if you can play in the GSC, there are Division I schools that will not play us. There are HBCUs, I won't say any names, that will not play us. All right.
I think we saw them play on Saturday.
Correct. Well, we actually are scheduled this fall to play Jackson State, so I wasn't talking about them.
No, I was talking about Grambling.
All right. Yeah, Grambling don't want that smoke, man. They want nothing to do with us. We said we'll come for free. We'll do anything. They said, no, sir. We don't want that smoke. We know about Delta State. So that's just a little bit of background and a little bit of history about Delta State.
Well, Coach, I would say that you must be a master recruiter because you just sold me. I want to go to Delta State right now, personally.
If you were only younger and better as an athlete.
Yeah, a little better. Just a little better of an athlete.
Yeah, if I was taller, I could play there.
Come on. And that's what the people get. People get this misconception about Division II football. The only difference between Division II and FCS is scholarships. All right, I'm just being honest with you. You line us up. I mean, all our linebackers are 6'3", 240. Our corners are 6'2", 200. Obviously, we're going to talk about one in a second. Our safeties are big and strong. ton of Division I transfers, ton of junior college transfers. And it's not just us, it's everybody in our conference. Dawson State, West Georgia, West Alabama. I mean, Tyreek Hill played in our conference. Malcolm Butler played in our conference. The top nickel corner in the NFL, Kenny Morris, played in our conference. So, I mean, it's a ton of, each week, it's a ton of competition. And that's what you want. That's what you ask for when you want to go play college football. And we got that. So
let's talk
that's
about
that.
playing this year, and well, let me take it down now, just to put this on from a coach's perspective. Take us through the uncertainty in the offseason with COVID, and then the eventual cancellation of the season, the frustration for yourself, the coaching staff, and the players. How tough was this process with the uncertainty, and then the actual cancellation of the season?
Man, I'm really sorry. You broke up a little bit. I didn't hear you.
What I was saying, Coach, was, this season, you guys had the uncertainty of playing. Can you hear me?
For me.
Coach, we're just going to pop you off for a second. Let us know when you maybe get back inside. Sorry about that so much. Appreciate it. David, funny guy, though, right? Start out here. It's a great conversation so far. He's going to pop back in just a second. We were talking about one of the HBCUs. We were talking about Eddie George a little bit, obviously, before we had Coach Terry pop on. I think it's huge, David. What were a couple of the names that you said? You said Hugh Jackson was a guy that you've heard whispers about, potentially being at the HBCU, and a couple others.
Yeah, there's a couple others. And again, I've talked to a few coaches and at the Power 5 level, and they say, man, I can't get a coaching job because they said I've never been a head coach. As I come from being a player, then I go be a grad assistant, and then I'm working, I'm 10, 15 years in on my resume. I've done everything they've asked me or given me every opportunity they give me. I've been able to accomplish and be successful at. But then, boom, when it comes to a head coaching job, they're like, well, you've never been a head coach. And we saw it at the Texans this year. Their head coach has never been a head coach. And now he finally, at 63 years old, is getting his shot, but he's never been a head coach at any point in his career, through his 30s or 40s. And then you got a Sean McVay who, comes in and he kills it and he crushes interviews and everything, and his energy's high, and they give him a chance. So, for an HBCU program now, they're like, hey, if you're a dynamic coach and you want to come play, come show you can be a head coach at this level and recruit, like, Terry, Coach Terry, we were just on with, like you're saying, you all fired up and can recruit and come to a D2 or an HBCU level. It's like, let's give him a shot at being a head coach, and then he can put it on his resume, hopefully be here, honestly, keep it as a 3, 4, 5 year, deal. And then he can move up, and that shows our program can groom coaches. The HBCU level is a great place. And we used to call, what was it, the MAC, the birthplace of coaches, right? Miami of Ohio and all that, because they would go there, they would coach our ass off, and then move up to Ohio State or Michigan State, whatever, and go that route. Now, why can't HBCU do that and, make it their own, taking care of their own, and grow coaches, grow, even recruiting staffs. Like I tweeted out the other day, and I wasn't even joking about it. Grambling, if you need help recruiting, call us. Ryan and I will be on a plane. We will get there and we will help you guys recruit. Like we can do it. And, again, we will put you in the living rooms with the right players, and we will find them for you. We will make it happen. I mean, Mavs is all about helping programs as well as players and coaches to their dreams. It's not anything. And in a historic program like Grambling, man, come on. Phone's right here. Call Keon. He'll get you in control. He'll get you in contact with me. We will be there. We will be on a plane. We'll help you out. 100% all about helping out Grambling, helping out any school that wants us to help them out in recruiting, setting up the system, showing them how to run the process. I've worked in pro, I've worked in college, I've put teams together from the Arena League level all the way up through NFL. So putting a transfer portal team together for an HBCU right now would be so much fun for me.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know why David Turner's not on speed dial already, to be honest, but is what it is. Welcome back, Mr. Coach Terry, Coach Jeff Terry. Coach, can you hear us?
Sorry, my bad. I can hear y'all. And hey, the one recruiting part I didn't hit you with, man, is the. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
You're going in and out a little bit,
going in a
Coach.
little bit. Yep. Try to back them on in a second.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So again, and again, I would hope that people through Mavs Sports Take and what we're doing with the HBCU Combine, what we're doing with the Hub, they do start trusting us a little bit here at Mavs. And it's not just me. I mean, obviously Ryan, and then the rest of the staff, Keon, and everybody else. We have experience in helping people do things, and we can make it happen for you. And like we said tonight, even if it's a life goal, like you want a certain business goal and you have it set for yourself, we can help you understand that. If you're an organization that's like struggling with your team building or your team motivation, reach out to us. We can help you with that. We talk a lot about football. We talk a lot about sports. It's our passion in life, but helping people is really where the core passion comes from. It's just making sure we help people through their life goals.
Absolutely. Yep. Very well said. Going to try. Third time's the charm. Welcoming Coach Terry back. Coach, can you hear us? Hopefully. Nope. Oh, man. All right. So while we try to figure this out, David, a lot of technical issues thrown at us.
Technical is crashing us tonight.
Man, brother, we are putting out fires, though. Let's be honest here. We are putting out fires. Unfortunate circumstance, obviously. Again, David Turner should have already bought a recording studio, and we should be, just recording live there, pay me some money to move out to Arizona.
I was going to say, you're welcome to pack the family up, come out to Arizona. I got a guest room. We can do it from the living room. It'll be fine. It'll be good. We'll be all right.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I think I'm going to start a GoFundMe. If somebody wants to start that, paying for that setup and all that type of stuff, would be a great idea.
We'll move the Roberts family out to Arizona. It'll be a great story 7 years from now, how Mav Sports was all created with Ryan living in the back room with his wife and kids. And here we go. Now we just got to get the wife on board with this.
Man, wife, baby, 2 dogs and a rabbit. We can handle that, right?
The 2 dogs and the rabbit, we're set. Casey would love that. I mean, she's all over the 2 dogs and rabbit. She'd take care of them. That's all golden. I love babies, you know me. So I mean, I'm all about it. Don't sleep on that. As long as the wife buys in, the rest will fall into place.
Yeah. So let's jump to one.
And Dan, by the way, you're not invited. I don't have a room for Dan. Dan says he's in. I'm sorry. You'd have to. I got a long. It's gonna be a little warm this summer. I don't think you want to pitch a tent this summer. But come the fall, you can camp out in the backyard. How about that?
Dan Cassidy inviting himself. I love it. I
love that he's like, I'm in. Let's do this. It's Animal House. Let's go. Right. I was like all about it.
Yeah, that's really funny. We might jump to another question. We're going to see if Coach Terry can join us.
T24's in. Back. T, you're in. I know you're in. Trust me, T. You can come anytime. You got that.
Oh, man. It's a heck of a show we're having here so far. A lot of technical issues, but we had a couple of great guests.
We have some great guests, and you've lined them up great. And like I said, technology trips us up. They hamstring us just like a player on the field. You know what? They at times you get the turf monster, and we're getting turf monster by technology tonight. Yeah. So it is what it is. But let me take a minute to talk about some of these hub players while you're working on this with Coach Terry. If you even want to jump off, I'll just talk about some of these hub players. You can call Coach Terry and see if we can get it figured out. But we have this young man out of California, Lutheran. His name is Obasi Dees. He was number 4 at the combine. Press corner, nickel guy. I think in the CFL level, he could be either a boundary or you could move him back to the halfback, spot. In the NFL, he would be a nickel. But he was really physical at the line of scrimmage. He really did great footwork, one-on-ones. I don't think anybody caught a ball on him, and every ball his way he got a hand on. So, I mean, I was really impressed. He knew body positioning. He knew leverage. He understood even down in the red zone when we pushed him down to the 5-yard line, which angles to take really quick, let the receiver get on top, and then jump on the hip and then extend, use his wingspan to break up passes. I was really impressed by him. He was a young man that I didn't know very much, but after that day, I got to know him really well. Another corner, Isaiah Brown, who out of FIU, he spent a couple years at the Buffalo Bills. He came in. Now his hand use is a little rusty. Coach corrected it a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, here we go. He had really good length, came in on a good size, a little thin, but a good size still. His frame could support at least another 7 pounds to it. I thought he was an impressive kid. Safety out of Washington, JoJo McIntosh.
Big boy.
Yeah,
Tough kid,
physical, tough kid. We ran a Jeep. Chris, one of the coaches out there, offensive coach or our head coach for the Hub, actually ran a 2x2 type formational drill where the safeties got to show their reads at the high level. Sitting up at a high safety level, and the quarterback had to read which way he was going and who he was picking. And we used a linebacker underneath in a corner, so it was a 3-on-2 type situation, 2 receivers going out. And he broke on every ball. He was really quick to make decisions, had a great burst of close, good ball skills, was able to extend and bat balls away. I was really impressed by him. And then Trey Tarpley, number 10 out of Vanderbilt. He was number 10 there. He was 6 foot, about 210 out of Vandy. He was smart, really good. Again, another good safety type, good transition with his footwork, able to burst to close, read the ball really well. So, I mean, these are just a few of the guys I'll be writing up for the Hub this coming week. They were impressive enough to where I was like, okay, here we go. When it came to the DB group, linebacker group, again, like I said, we had B Marshall out there. Really, everybody knows what he can do.
He looked good too. He looked thinned out a little bit, quick, fast. Yeah.
He was just looking. He was just trying to show teams he was healthy, accomplished. Good job, B Marsh. He did really a fantastic job. I don't even know if he needs a write up for me. I mean, just turn the film on and watch him move around. You saw he was healthy and good. 2 D linemen that really stood out though were and I'm gonna butcher this.
Oh,
this is a butcher name. Okay, I'm butchering this. I'm telling you right off the bat, and I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna get this right. Hinwana, Hinwa, Hinwana Allieu, Allieu. He went to Nebraska Kearney. He's 6'5" and about 280. He's from Africa. Came over. You want a piece of raw clay to develop, though? Oh, my Lord. Like his frame, his size, he has bend. He didn't understand every drill. The coaches would have him run back and do it again. And then second time through, he was getting it. I was standing next to some of the coaches and some of the scouts that were there. And they were like, oh, this 50, because he wore number 54 that day. This 50 is something. I said, I know. I'm like, especially if you can get him in the international development type, classification, so it doesn't cost you a roster spot. I mean, spending a year with this young man, I think he's only 22 years old. I mean, it would be impressive. I told one scout, he said, well, how much time would you give him? I said, I'd give him a year on the practice squad. I mean, legit, he ran well all the way through the drills, energy. I mean, every place we put him up and down the D line, he jumped in, he would rush. We put him at a 4, we put him at a 3, we put him outside, 7 and 9s, and he did it all, and he looked good doing it. It's just you could tell he was raw. His tools were raw, need to be developed. So.
Well, I was gonna ask you with that type of size, do you feel like he's going to be like a 5'4" type of guy? Do you think he's going to get big enough where he could play just a 3 standard in an even front? Like, what do you think?
I think he's a 43 defensive end because he had a nice first step. Yeah, and again, if the Steelers got their hands on him, this could be a stand-up outside linebacker because of his size and athleticism. So he's a two-way go. He really is. At 250, again, he wasn't a tight 250. He had a little looseness to him.
Oh, I thought you said 280. Okay.
No. He was 250. So, again, he could put size on and go inside, but I think naturally where he's at 6'5", I mean, he's the same size as Bud Dupree, right? I mean, same size. So that's what I'm saying is, like, if you're a 34 team, you look at him, try to mold him as your outside linebacker. He'll play special teams for you if he comes up, onto the roster, and boom, you got a linebacker that's athletic and can run downfield. The guy that I think is instant coffee on the D line was Kai Higgins out of Purdue. Now, Kai Higgins, he wore number 52, understood every drill. You could tell he was well coached, good technique, bend, athleticism. He really understood. He really knew how to move his shoulders, hips, hands together. They were all in unison. So Kai was a player I was really excited about seeing. He didn't disappoint at all. I had him do against one of the better guards. I had him move in and do a 4 and a 4-eye rush. And man, he just whipped that ball. I mean, he just whipped him. And I'm sorry to say that, but he did. I mean, he came off the ball. He knew what to do. He's about 270. And, I think naturally he's probably a 3 technique that can move inside and get to 280 or even 285, or he can play the 4-eye 4 in some schemes. But he has really good body control, balance, foot quickness, and steps, hand use, violence. It was all there for him. So, for the D line, those were the 2 that stood out the most. We had a big boy, Olive Sagapolo, Saгаpo.
This is my favorite part of our podcast.
LU. I know. He went to Wisconsin, Madison.
Oh, yeah. Olive Sapagalo, something like that. Yeah. I don't know. No tackle, right? No
yes,
tackle?
But that's him. Like, this kind of workout wasn't necessarily his cup of tea, but he came out, he showed he was in shape, big plugger, big space heater. Again, if the Buffalo Bills are listening, this is the kind of guy you bring in, back up your big DTs.
Like a star.
Yeah. He could back up your DTs. He was a guy, I think he was, what was he, like 6'4" or 6'2 and a half, 6'3" but he was like 340 or something, moving around. And yeah, again, camp body, bring him in, see if he can make the team. I think he should trim down to 330 before he gets to camp. But that's just me. Those are some of the defensive players that were really standing out. We had Christian Sams, the former Arizona State outside linebacker. He was there. He showed off some nice skills doing his thing. We had a good kid out of New Hampshire, 6 foot kid. I think he'd be a really good CFL player. Mr. Dean, he wore number 15 for us there. He was a guy that, again, showed good coverage skills, good ability to read, react, good burst downhill. I think he'd make a really good CFL linebacker. I just don't see the size for NFL. But again, a CFL linebacker, he would be a really nice one up there. So, I'm just cherry picking off the list since our guest is having technical difficulties.
Well, he's back, David. He's back. There he is.
Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but for 4 times in a row now. We got him back. We keep coming.
Looks like he is muted, though. We might need to get unmuted.
My bad.
There we are.
My
bad.
Good, Coach. My bad, yeah. My bad.
Nah, you're good.
You're good.
We're just happy to get you back. That's all.
Hey, what were you talking about, David? Was that like a regional combine?
So the Hub Combine is put on by Don Yee and his group out in San Diego. We do a selection process. We only bring in the top 10 players per camp. So we had over 300 players submit resumes and applications to get in. We took 58 of them into the camp. And so we make it a very selective group where NFL teams can come, and we're trying to run it as like a free agent workout for them because they can't bring them into their facility right now. And CFL teams can't do workouts on their own right now. Right. So we're trying to create a cream of the crop place where NFL, CFL teams can come. And we had a kid out of South Carolina last camp in April, Newberry, South Carolina, running back Darius Clark. And he got signed on the field by the Panthers, actually. Yep. Okay. Yeah, they offered him on a contract, and then that Thursday after the camp, he went up past the physical. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's awesome, what we're trying to do.
Well, I need that information when we get off of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You coming out yourself? You coming out yourself?
No, I'm done. I had a good run. I got some free agents, man. We got some guys that, obviously when you're at the Division II level, at the small school level, nobody's ever going to be a off the charts kind of a guy. Everybody's going to be a free agent, fringe free agent, 5th, 6th rounder. But we got some dudes, man, that like we got a linebacker, Marvin Terry. When he gets into any camp, you forget it. He about 6'3", 250, run like a DB, signed to Missouri out of high school, got in some trouble, went to Trinity Valley in Texas, and we ended up getting him just on the hum because the kid was ineligible, was only D2 qualified, and I mean, freak. Obviously you would say Junior Falk is our number one small school kind of this kid is ridiculous, and I've had teams call me about him and all that good stuff. I just know that he's, because of his past, till he graduates, he's going to need a free agent type of deal. You know what I mean? He's going to need to get into regional combine, things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get him hooked up and get him rolling.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, I think that's a good segue. Sorry, David, to cut you off.
No,
You mentioned Julius Jr. Falk, obviously a young man that I've talked to a couple times. We talked about him in our first interview. Mm-hmm. So let's highlight him for a second, because that's what I really want to do here. Obviously, he was a kid that I thought was a 2021 kid. I thought he was draftable, 6'1", 200 pounds, athletic, former JUCO kid who in his first year with you, 9 interceptions, 22 pass breakups, leads all of the college football, I think, at any level. Talk him up for a second. Tell us who Junior Falk is.
So Junior is you can stick Junior on any team, any place. You can stick him in Michigan. You can stick him in Alabama. You can stick him anywhere. Sometimes when you think about small school guys, you think about, hey, when I walk into the arena, do I see you? Do you stand out? That's what Kyle Duggar was. I saw Kyle Duggar. I coached against him twice. When you walk into the arena and you see a guy, you go, hey, that he's got something. So Junior led the country in interceptions. This is actually even his first year playing corner. So he's actually even better now. We've moving him around. I got him playing on the roof. we're doing a bunch of different things, bringing him off the edge. 6'2", 205, runs a sub 4.4, can jump a 40-inch vertical. He's going to broad jump anywhere from 10.2 to 10.5. And if you do your research, because I know that's what you guys do. I know that's what you do, Ryan. 15 of the last 7, like in 2019, 2020, there were 17 guys go to the Pro Bowl. 15 out of that 17, they jumped higher than the average, which was 10.2. They were kind of in that 10.4 range. JC obviously jumped in 11. You know what I'm saying? So it translates. So this kid can really flat out do it. He really flat out has really good football IQ. And I think him playing offense prior to playing corner, playing quarterback, playing receiver, I think those things only helped him and only made him look that much better, transitioning positions. And this kid is going to be, when all said and done, right now, he's a fringe free agent, 5th, 6th rounder kind of a kid. He's coming back this fall. He should probably be one of the top small school guys picked in the next year's draft in 2022. Teams are obviously going to probably throw away from him. We got ways around that. All right. I got ways that we're going to manipulate him, get him to the boundary, put him on the roof. You can't throw. When I had JC in high school, I put him on a 4-star kid, right? The 4-star kid didn't catch a ball. So all he did was throw to the other guy on the other side, and he caught 10 balls. So I said, you know what? If I put you on the roof, they can't go away from you there. But I don't think that's his skill set. I think he's an NFL corner. I think if you give a comp, he's more of a Xavier Howard, kind of a bigger, kind of a Byron Jones, bigger kind of a press guy, but can play some off and has tremendous ball skills, which you'll see on his film. If anybody just pops on the tape, tremendous ball skills.
Well, if you know me at all, I love them big press corners. I'm out there in school, baby.
I do too, baby.
Let's beat them up at the line. Let's beat them up at the line. If they can't catch a ball, they can't get off the line. They talk about.
I'm trying to tell you, they talk about the 3 parts of a route, right? Release, the stem, the top of the route. Well, if you win the release, you ain't got to worry about the other 2.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. If you beat them up at the line, Willie Davis used to say, if they don't get off the line, they can't run a route on me.
That
so
quarterback's going to go, you know what? I got to go that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And now here comes the pass rush.
And we all know how tough receivers are. So if you beat them up first and second quarter, they quit at halftime.
Oh, yeah. They don't want to keep seeing you line up over and over again in front of them. Like, they don't want that. That's just not what receivers want to do.
Well, Coach, that's why I love JC so much. I'm the same way, man. Press man. I mean, the best quote that you ever gave to me in the first interview, which I actually just tweeted out again. Scouts aren't looking for zone corners.
They're not. They don't call you and say, hey, man, you got one of those zone corners? Get out of here. They never ask that. Can that guy play man-to-man?
You think he could play man-to-man at the next level? Do you think he would be a left corner or the right corner at the next level? If you put this guy in a pit with another guy, who's coming out? Right.
If I drop you off at a basketball court and I don't know, everybody's a bunch of nobodies out there, are you going to stay on the court?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of guys you want, man.
Yeah, you don't relinquish once you get position. You don't relinquish the position.
No, sir. No, sir.
Nope.
You my kind of guy, David.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so that's nice.
You
to
my
hear.
kind of guy. I like how you talk, man.
Hey man, I'm all about it. It's like, you know what? I once had an owner say owner once said to me, losing builds character, and I had a couple beers in me. I ain't gonna lie, I had a couple beers in me, but I looked him right in the eye and I said, "Fuck that." I said, I was like, I don't need to lose to have character. If I win the right way every time, that's fine. I'm not cheating. I'm not lying. I'm not stealing. I'm just better than you because
100%.
I train better than you and I want it more than you and
100%.
I can do it better than you.
Yep.
And therefore, if that's it, let's go. And he was like, he was ready. After I said that to him, he's like ready to break a glass. He was like, let's go.
You had him ready to run through the wall, didn't you?
Yeah. And I was like, that's it, man. Like, I mean, not to toot my horn, but here it is, toot. But I was a national powerlifting champion. I took second place in one competition. I won everything else I was ever in.
Awesome, man.
And the one I remember the most, though, is that second place. It was like, and he blew my doors. It was my second competition ever. He blew my doors. I caught him four times later. I caught him, and I blew his doors, but I wasn't ready for him, taking him on. So I trained to make sure I was. Next time I saw him, I was going to take him, and he was not going to catch me after that. And so I did, and I got him.
That's called competitive spirit.
Yeah,
competitive edge. I love it.
That's it. And then you don't look back. People ask you what's happening in the rear view. I don't know. I tore it off. I'm looking forward. Let's go.
Right. Yeah. That's why they make it small. That's awesome, man.
So tell me about this draft process for you and the players that you've been with and everything. How much different is it? How are these young men handling it? How are the criticism and stuff? And one thing I've been hearing a lot of criticisms about the 4.3s being run, the 4.4s being run, and are these legit times and stuff. And again, if they did it at the combine, we wouldn't hear the criticisms, right?
They did it on campus.
But we did it on campus, and there's a lot of rumors going around, all this stuff. And you're tied to these players more intimately than obviously Ryan and I are. How are they handling that? How are the coaches handling the criticism of these young men right now? Because I personally feel it's unjust. It
is to a certain degree. But the big thing you got to understand is that the tape don't lie, and if a guy runs a 4.3, say you think he's closer to a 4.5, does he look like he runs a 4.3 on film? Are you watching him against other guys that are fast? Is he keeping up? And that's what when the Arizona Cardinals call me and, the Raiders and, some of these schools come in, some of these NFL teams come in and they ask those questions. Like I've had that question about JC. Is he really fast? Because all I see him do is press and run with guy. Have you ever seen a guy 5 yards in front of him that's supposed to be fast? No, right? So that means he's just as fast. So I say the same thing about Junior. Like when he has a guy in phase, do guys run by him? No, they don't. We get that criticism, and in those kids' defense, yes, they are at home. They are comfortable. They did sleep in their bed the night before. They are running on turf they're used to. So, they're going to run faster. They're going to be more comfortable. The NFL combine, they don't test. They're there 3 days prior to even testing. So it's different. They're in their comfort zone and they're going to be really good in their comfort zone. But if back in the day when I was coming out, we had pro days during spring practice. Like the pro day, they would come in January, during our spring practice, and they'll get a chance to watch us run those 40s, just with our coaches and just, in our own environment. And you would still see those same 4.3s and 4.2s and 40-inch verticals. So, if a kid is a 4.3, worst case scenario, he's a 4.5.
And honestly, like the NFL process, and as a member of the team there, I've been part of it. It's to set players up to fail because we want to see if we apply the pressure, who rises to the top. It's not for you to succeed. We're not there trying to help you succeed. You have to find your path to succeed in this process.
Correct.
Because we're setting it up for you to fail. We want you to fail. We want you to take yourself out of the equation, make our job easier, right?
Right.
But theyese kids think we're there to support them and make them, do the best. And they wouldn't ask us to do all this if it's from, and no, hey, That's what Maverick Sports Consulting is about, is to teach you the real rules, which is to get you to fail. The pressure's applied to get you to crumble, not turn into a diamond.
Looking for ways not to give you money, man. They're looking for ways not to pay you. They're looking for ways for you not to succeed. And if you can still do it, then you're obviously one of the few and the many that can make it at that level. You know,
well, David, no better way to set a board than kids eliminating themselves, right? I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And you know, the cream will always rise. Well, I know this just while always coaching 50 guys at a time. You coach defensive backs, you're always gonna have about 50 in the room, right?
Always.
The cream will always rise to the top. It'll always do it. Like there'll be some close battles, but the really good ones will always rise right away. And then, you know, that's what it is. And that's what info teams are looking for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I've cut hundreds of men in taking their jobs, right?
No
and
doubt.
I'm not proud of it, but it's the business I chose to be in. It's a conversation I chose to have.
I know what it feel like.
But most of the players make the decisions for me.
Yep.
The roughest 7%, like 93%, make the decision for me.
Yep.
The 7% that are hard are when you're deep out of position. And it's like you got 1A, 1B, 1C, and that number 2 guy, you know, the first 3 are all 1s, and that number 2 guy is just like, man, I'm about to cut a really good player, and he's done everything we've asked of him. Yeah. And Bill Walsh said it a long time ago. That's the hardest conversation. I didn't believe him in his book, you know, when I read his book, and then I had to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time after those conversations, I have to take a break because I'm wound up, because I know I just let a good player walk, and I can't keep them all. As Gettleman says, you can't pay them all, you can't keep them all, and those are the toughest conversations. Like the ones that are late, the ones that are late, the ones that don't show up, the ones that just do the minimum, the ones that make bad decisions off the field, the ones that you know don't know their playbook, aren't ready for the opportunity. Those are the easy ones.
Yes,
because they made that decision for you.
Correct.
They have.
No doubt.
Well, Coach, I need to ask you about JC.
Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, David, I know is really annoyed at this point because, like, I bring him up every.
I've been hearing about JC, sir, since like last May.
Summer,
okay,
right?
I'm glad, man. That's awesome.
I'm just like, but I'm so tired. It's like having a wife who constantly brings up a subject that you know about. You got it. You've heard enough. You get, and then he's like, no, we're gonna set up a show to talk about JC. I'm like, really? Okay, I'm gonna just watch TV. You guys.
I should have got JC on here. I should have got JC.
You should have. If you called me earlier, if I didn't have a baseball game, I would have called him and got him on here.
I'm just this man. Listen, if this man ain't the president of the fan club, I don't know who is.
Ryan's my guy, man. I appreciate that, man. Listen, man, like, here's what I want everybody to understand about JC, okay? He doesn't want to be picked first. He listens to the critics. He doesn't want to be picked first. He doesn't want to be the first corner taken off the board. He wants these draft mocks, these guys to keep putting these other guys in front of him because he wants to eat their food. You get what I'm saying? He wants that competition. And I think nowhere else than at cornerback position does that kind of strong personality translate. Think about it. Like Marcus Peters, he had some off the field issues at Washington. He was a wild kind of a guy. It translated to a Pro Bowl, right? Marshawn Lattimore, Jalen Ramsey. Like no other position does that translate than at corner. And he has all those attributes. He has obviously he has the size, speed, ball skills, confidence, all that good stuff. But I mean, from a strong personality of I belong here, you don't. He's always had that. And whenever you see talent and work ethic meet, it's something special. It's like I remember some days, man, I had to, go open the damn gym up for him because he sitting outside in his car waiting for me 7 a.m. and school don't start till 9. And that's just the kind of kid he is. He's always been that way. And even right now, he doesn't want to be the first guy because he wants some type of motivation in front of him. He wants you all to say that, hey, Patrick Surtain should go, Caleb Farley should go, whoever else that Pondix say that should be picked in the first round. he
If
deserved.
you want to know, next week we're doing our mock draft. So
Okay.
feel free to do that.
No doubt. And you're gonna have Surtain there, aren't you?
Well, I've known that kid since he was 9 because I was in Miami with his daddy. And so he was yay big when he used to come to the locker room. So I've known that kid for a while. But no,
he's a good player now. He's a good player.
He's not a throwaway. He's not a throwaway.
No, sir.
Pretty
And
good player.
the funny part about that is like they were competing in high school. I mean, like I remember watching I thought Tyson Campbell was actually a little better coming out of high school because I saw them both on the same team.
Yep.
They've been doing this since high school. Surtain was the number 1 corner coming out of high school. So I mean, it's been going on. He's been taking names. He's been crossing them off all this time. He's been just crossing them off. Hey, you remember Miles Sims? Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he went to Michigan and didn't do anything. Now he's at Georgia Tech, didn't do anything. Cross him off. Like he's just crossing those names off. Like he knows. Like, and those are the special ones that understand, like, look, I'm special. I'm supposed to be here. This is what I do. I've worked at this. My time is now. I don't care what anybody say. I'm the best defensive player in the draft, linebacker, D lineman, anything. And he really feels that way. And he doesn't shy away from saying it.
Well, that's my favorite part. Not only JC, but I actually had a chance to sit down with Patrick Surtain a few weeks ago. And it's so funny because they have a similar personality to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Like I asked JC, like, oh, you versus your dad, right? Your dad's in his prime. He's like, oh, I
Don't
lock
say
him up.
me, right?
Yeah. I said, I lock him up. He said, I'll throw away the key. And then I asked Pat Surtain Jr. if he had ever watched his dad's film, right? He's like, nah, they don't really keep VHS players over anymore.
Oh, did he say that?
Man, he said that, man.
That's shots fired.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
David,
It's like these kids forget they have to go home for Christmas. They forget they got to go home for Christmas, man.
My son
the
better
presents
not
get
say that
smaller
about
when
me.
you talk that trash about daddy now.
David, does this make you feel old? We got JC Horn, Joe Horn, obviously, right? We got Pat Surtain, and we got Asante Samuel Jr. in the class too, man. A lot of young pups.
He's a
coming
real
out,
instinctive player too, man. I loved his dad playing. Like
Dude,
his dad was more of the off corner, you know what I mean? But he had instincts. So you can play that off, man, when you got tremendous instincts, you know, but that's not the game we play right now. It's about man to man, baby.
Yeah, well, I like that.
Man, let's go. Old school Raider way.
Old school.
I like that Samuel Jr.'s. He's a lot more physical than his dad was. His dad was a little passive, you know.
Yeah, he's way more physical. He's stronger though. You know, it's a different era.
Yeah, for sure.
Different era. And again, is it making me feel old watching these young kids that I saw in the locker rooms as, snot-nosed kids now being first-round picks? Yeah, it does make me feel old.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's like I've earned the salt in this
there
beard.
You go. That's what I'm saying.
I can throw comparisons that you can't dream of, young buck. So
you know what I'm saying? No.
Try me, David.
Oh, you couldn't talk about Delvin Joyce. You don't even know who that is.
Running back from the Giants. I know who Delvin Joyce is.
What school?
I don't know, man. Give me a minute. Like, I wasn't even alive. Like, what do you?
I just made that comparison to a kid from the HBCU combine last week because little Jimmy Robinson out of Bethune-Cookman reminded me of a faster Delvin Joyce. You know what I mean? So I was like, this kid, he was just like Delvin. When we were at the Giants together, I watched Delvin kick return, this and that.
Right.
But Jimmy jumped to 11-2. He, he verted 42. He ran a 4.28, 4.35 on the clock. He was sub 7 3 cone. He was a 4.22 with a slip on the short shuttle. So I mean, he was a kid that just he lit it up. And so I made that comparison, and I had a few GMs call me like, "Why did you have to pull the Delvin Joyce comparison out?"
Wow.
And I was just like, man, you got to go back in your Rolodex if you're too young to know.
You know that sometimes somebody just pops in your head when you see a certain guy. That's what it is, man.
David,
throw out Joe Morris and all that stuff.
Joe Morris, another running back, nice one. David, you know who else jumped 41 inches in the vert and had 11.2 in the broad? You know who else did that?
Not Ryan Roberts.
JC Horn, baby.
It's the JC Horn show. I hope we send a copy of this to the JC Horn fan club.
I'll text him right now.
So we can put it out there for
He's
him.
gonna be a
It's the
tremendous pro,
JC
man.
Horn fan club show. I love, and by the way, I don't hate on him. I love.
I know you don't, man. I know you don't.
It's just
hearing
this
this guy
man's
talk about him for months at a time. I
a
know.
year. Last
year?
May, the draft ends. He goes,
because
know who the best corner is going to be next year.
But see, last year it was mucky. He wasn't this top guy last year. He wasn't. I mean, he was talked about. People knew about him, but he wasn't in the top 10, top 12 type of guy.
It's been CB1 like since last year. Ryan CB1.
A lot of publications had him as like.
That's why I'm trying to give you Junior Falk right now. That Ryan, I'm giving you Junior Falk. You throw him on there, throw him on your board. I'm telling you, you're gonna look like a genius like you did with JC.
Coach, let's not pump it. Okay, nice having you, Coach. We got to go now. You're pumping Ryan's ego too much. All right. Hey, we've tied you up a lot of your time tonight. Genius, keep the G word out of this.
Keep that out of it. Don't give him that one.
I love it, man.
He's a young professor. He doesn't need no help with his ego.
We need to have some defensive back talk, man. I'm already infatuated with Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame. Dude is baller.
Kyle's from Georgia.
He texted me like
Kyle went to Marist High School. I saw Kyle play. I trained Kyle. Kyle went to Marist High School.
They're all Georgia kids, man. Mm-hmm. What is going on in Georgia? It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's been going on for a while. Georgia players been balling for a while. It ain't no resurgent. Georgia's been putting them out for quite some time.
For a long time.
But you mentioned
recently, a lot of those guys are now starting to kind of come out now. They're all right here coming out. I've seen all those kids play in high school.
Well, you mentioned Surtain and Campbell playing up down in Florida. I mean, they had Marco Wilson on their team too. Anthony Schwartz, like that. I mean, that team was insane.
That team was loaded, boy. Yeah. Anthony Schwartz was, man. Woo.
Speed.
That's why he's gonna get picked. Now you didn't talk about speed. What did he run at his pro day?
I think 4.27.
Yeah,
like that. So,
I already knew. Yeah,
I already knew.
Woo. All right, Coach, we have taken up way too much of your time. So if you want to, real quick, shout out anything you want. If you want to just tell everybody how excited you are finally getting back into some structure for the team, all that good stuff, whatever you want to leave us with.
I just want to say thank you guys for having me. We are on the map. Delta State is here. We are ready to play this fall. We play Jackson State the 4th game of the year. We're going to be loaded. We're going to be locked and ready to roll. It's been a long time coming. Junior Falk is going to be on that top small school list of players, but don't forget about Marvin Terry, Zane Samuel. These two guys are names that are going to rise on that board as well. JC Horn is my guy. I love him. It's like a son to me. I'm going to be in Atlanta next week, and if you see me popping bottles on TV, don't judge me. All right.
Well, it depends on what the bottle is. I mean, if it's not a nice bottle,
don't judge me. I'm gonna try to make sure I got a glass then, so y'all know what I'm drinking.
If it's Corbell, I'm just gonna be like, come on, go.
But I'm a big advocate for the defensive backs, man. I'm a big advocate for guys that bust their ass and rise to the top, man. I'm a big advocate for guys that come from nowhere and put their face down and put their head down and work hard and you know, at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, the cream always rise to the top. Check us out this fall. We're going to be ready. We're going to be locked and loaded. We got a tremendous team coming back. We long time coming. We just finished our spring game last Thursday, had a great spring game, and we're ready to roll, man. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for this draft. I'm excited for a lot of these guys to get a chance to showcase their talents in front of everybody, in front of the world, baby. And
again,
thank you.
Jeff Terry, defensive back coach out of Delta State. Coach, appreciate you again taking some time. We got to talk again soon, but please come
man,
back
always,
on.
Man, y'all gotta hit me up, man. Yeah, David, I hear you over here giving your scouting reports and stuff, man. I need in, man. I don't want in. All right.
I'll get you hooked up. We'll get you right. We'll get you some Mav swag too.
Yeah, I need that, man. I need some. I got this Under Armour crap on, man. I need some Mav.
No, you need some Mav swag.
I do, man. That look good. What you got on, Ryan? Is that a Norfolk State shirt?
Ryan never wears the gear I send him.
I know.
So it's just like it's always laundry night. Tuesday's always laundry night. So it's like, why'd I send you Mav gear? Because he never wears it. It's usually a Notre Dame shirt. It's like I think he gets paid sponsorship by Notre Dame is what I really.
I got a 12-week-old at home right now. Okay, the laundry doesn't get done incredibly quick. Okay, sorry. My apologies.
12-week-old. Well, you know how to operate the washing machine too.
No doubt.
Job. I don't know what you're talking about.
No doubt.
All right, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you
again
soon.
Have a good one, man.
Take it easy, Coach.
All right, David, that was fun. I know we went over our time. It's okay. Coach Jeff Terry again, defensive back coach out of Delta State. Awesome time. David, let's wrap it up because we, have gone over time. You're yelling at me. You're texting me.
No. Let's
go.
No, it was fun. And with all the technical issues we had tonight, I get it. It is what it is. Joe's going to have his job cut out for him tomorrow. But,
shout out.
I gotta love Joe. Super producer Sam is great, on the morning show. But Joe for Mavs, we wouldn't have a show without him. So he does what we need to do. And I just want to spend 1 minute talking about One Institution Network that we have jumped on and we're part of. It's a great partnership with them, and we really appreciate all the love and support that they give us each and every week. Now going forward, it's going to be a network of great shows, great podcasts that they're going to take our video and post it on their network. And so we'll not only be a podcast, but we'll be like a video podcast here. And they've started already with the promotions, and they're creating more gear and more stuff for us. But our listeners will go up in our impact on what we're bringing to the community of podcast world is going to be there. And I just thank them for the opportunity to join One Institution and their nation of network and Keenan Davis, Dr. Keenan Davis, and everybody there. Their love and support has been great over the last few months, getting this off the boards and getting us going. So I continue to hope and pray that we do right by them and, we incorporate ourselves well into their network.
Absolutely. Big things coming here for Mav Sports Take. Appreciate everybody again for popping on. We'll be back again Tuesday night next week, 8:30 Eastern time. Bring your questions. Send us a review on the podcast. Any platform that you use, Apple is preferred. 5 stars. Tell them Ryan Roberts is awesome. Tell them David Turner is handsome.
Don't lie about Ryan. Don't lie about me. I got bags under my eyes that are like freaking. They got bags on bags. You would think like I traveled 17 hours yesterday.
You would think. Like, share. At Rise and Draft, at Mav_sports. See you all next week. Same time.